Hello. Um, I just want to talk to Palestinians. Um, I just want to talk to their heart for a second, or for many seconds, I guess. What are we doing? The fuck is this? How much longer do we have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again? Um, I'm 39 years old. I have three sons. Uh, one is 7, another is 5, and another is 2 years old. And they're all boys, and one day they're gonna grow up and join the military, and they might point a gun at your face one day if we keep this up. They might even kill one of your kids, or your fathers, your sisters. You might kill them, and I don't want any of that to happen, obviously. Um, so, so what do we do? Um, they say that this is a conflict of narratives. Um, and that's that's true, because you have two groups of people who tell themselves and are being told a story that, for the most part, is completely at odds with one another. And, and all the bombs and the bullets and the atrocities, the wars, those are just outgrowths of those two stories. And so while we keep fighting these wars, and we think that that's the actual battle, that's just the physical manifestation of the real problem, right? It's that we wake up every day and we look out at the world and we see a piece of land and it's divided, demarcated in such a way that we're still arguing about it. And it's the argument that sucks. And not enough time and energy has been put into finding a better argument, a more constructive argument. Um, no, look, I have my biases, right? I live in Israel. I moved here 14 years ago. I love this country. It's great. I've had some of the best moments of my life here. And it's a great story. It's a really great story. It's one of the craziest fucking stories ever told in human history. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? A group of people are stateless and just, you know, surviving wherever they go. But doing all right. And every so often they do all right too much, a little bit too well, and then they get their shit kicked out of them. And people just continuously try to annihilate them. Sometimes they do. And those people, after 2,000 years, by the way, starting with this whole monotheistic thing that led to Christianity, that led to the scientific revolution, that led to the most incredible time in all of human history, right? Those people, they come back to where it all started. And in the most ridiculous way possible. They one guy. I know it's not that simple, but I'm going to simplify it anyway. One guy in Austria uh, has insane visions of European Jewry being destroyed, and he makes it his life's mission to bring all of the Jews back to the land of Israel. Now, all of the Jews means a bunch of strangers, essentially, to a land that none of them have any knowledge of. I mean, they don't know anything about this place. It's just this land of their dreams. And it's where their whole story started, and it's what connects all those people together, among other things. But that place, the physical land and soil, the story in their minds, and something that's real. You can measure it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can, the weather, the rain, the sunshine, the when it rains, the seasons, the fruits, I mean, all that, right? The mountains, the sunsets. It's a real place. So this maniac decides to take it upon himself to do that, and he concocts a story, and he tries to sell it to the most powerful people in the world. They sort of brush him off, and he dies. But the idea takes root in a few other maniacs who saw what he saw. And they left, and they came here and settled the place and built it brick by brick. And then they fought a war, and they won. And now, 70 something years, 76 years later, Israel is one of the richest countries on earth. It has produced amazing technology that serves all of mankind. um, it has incredible food. Uh, it helps protect free people all over the world with the intelligence that they gather and share it with other governments. It's a rather productive society, I would say. And but there's a conflict, obviously, right? Because they weren't the only ones in this place. And it's the other story that I think needs help tweaking. Because I know what a Jew is. I'm just not so sure I know what a Palestinian is outside of, what they call the Nakba, right? The catastrophe. And I'm assuming that's an offensive thing to say, but I'm speaking as a friend now. And someone that doesn't want my kids to point a gun at your kids. Don't want that. Don't want it. I don't want it. I'm a Jew, I'm an Israeli, I'm an American, whatever, but I'm a human being, and I believe that human life is the most precious thing that we have, and that applies to everyone. So it pains me to see so many people have their lives wasted by buying into and believing a bullshit story about themselves, as if their entire existence is about revenge and victimhood and dispossession, where I know, because I'm human, that there is a soul that beats inside of all of you guys. And it's way bigger than that. Way bigger than revenge fantasies about Jews, you know, redressing wrongs from 80 years ago that happened to people that aren't even alive anymore in most cases. What kind of a future is that? Why would you want that for your kids? Why would you want them to grow up to do that, to be that person? I don't understand that. Where is the glory in that? I only see the road to destruction if you keep going down that path. And I get it. I mean, it's hard, right? What else is on offer for the average Palestinian? Right? Most of your leaders are either corrupt or psychopathic. And who do you emulate? Who do you look up to? Who are your heroes? If I were a young Palestinian kid being taught the bullshit that they teach at those UNRWA schools, or seeing those posters of suicide bombers, people that were killed in terrorist attacks, where's my Elon Musk? Where is my Albert Einstein? Where is my Michael Jordan? Where is my, I don't know, Jay-Z? Where's my Nas? Where's my Jerry Seinfeld? Where's my Larry David? Oh, I don't care, right? Where's my Churchill? Where's my Gandhi? Where's my Mandela? Where are those guys? I mean, who is setting the example of what it's like to be a man and a woman? But if I'm going to be real, who's setting the example of what it means to be a proper man in Palestinian society? Now, I'm not saying that those people don't exist. I'm sure there are people of tremendous integrity and honor there, but they don't, for some reason, get promoted to the top of social consciousness there. I could be wrong. So I listen. If I am wrong, I hope I'm wrong, and please correct me if I am, because I would love nothing more than to see the men of the highest character being promoted and emulated in that society. Because if that were true, then things would look a hell of a lot different than they do now. Because I think that by definition, if leaders are the best that society has to offer, they're honest, they're fair, they're courageous, they have a spine, then by definition, we're going to get somewhere and fast to a great place. You know, generous people, productive people. Those are the people you want to give the most responsibility, not the maniacs in Hamas, right? Not the corrupt bureaucrats of the Palestinian Authority. Palestinian people deserve better. Simple. You know, they're alive. That's it. I know it's more tricky than that, right? You have to earn it and all that, but still, what a waste of human life. What a waste of human potential. For God's sakes, you know, in Gaza, they built what should have been a marvel of human achievement. I mean, it is, in a very perverse sense, those underground tunnels. Super sophisticated. I don't think that's ever been done before in human history. The problem is that the intent was evil. It still is evil. It's not only was it meant to, house hostages, it's also meant to hide under a helpless civilian population that's being pummeled by a war machine. It's just, you know, and again, I think this really does come down to character, because I like to think about, for example, there were these stories from October 7th, that some people who used to work in one of the kibbutzim there in Israel and gave information to Hamas. I like to imagine what they were promised in return: some money, maybe an apartment. I mean, what good is that money and apartment worth right now with Gaza being totally destroyed as a direct result of the attacks that were abetted by the information those people provided to Hamas? Do you understand? You cannot do business with these people because it's whatever they promise you is worthless. It's just their intentions are destructive, and that's what manifests itself in the world. These are not leaders, and they are products of a culture that promotes this revenge fantasy, basically. That's all it is. And I wish that this conflict of narratives moved to a situation where Palestinian and even Israelis, right, they examined their own societies and stopped pointing the finger at the other side and just examine themselves and say, how can we be the most productive people we can possibly be? Now, the Israelis, like I said, are doing a pretty good job. The Palestinians have not, right? And I like to think about this really on the individual level. Like, if you had people who were brooding all the time about revenge and guilting everyone around them for not doing their part in in, in helping in facilitating this revenge fantasy and bullying them to giving them money just so they can try to carry out this revenge fantasy against an opponent who's way stronger, and then using that destruction that they attract on themselves as a pretext to get more money and play the same game over and over and over again. This is so ineffective, and it's been going on for decades. And it, it it's just dumb. It's just a dumb strategy. And Palestinian people can do so much better. So much better. And they're clearly capable of it. It's just, it has to start with questioning their existence and saying, why do we exist? And if the answer is destroy Israel, then what? Well, what are you going to do the day after? And the day after that? And the day after that? And the day after that? You still have to answer that question. We all do. So you might as well come up with an answer that makes you want to wake up in the morning and be your best goddamn self. Just be that person that would make your heritage proud. And you feel it, right? I mean, I think this is a common thing about, Muslim immigrants. Oh, sorry, that's a generalization, but more like the ones who are angry these days at the West. And they complain about those societies while living in those societies, and never realizing just how great they have it versus where their families came from. You can have incredible Muslim societies, a blend of the tradition plus all of the good stuff that comes with modern science and technology and innovation. Like it is truly possible to do that. Look at Dubai, for example. It's a Muslim society. Now, yeah, it sort of bends the rules here and there a bit, but if you're a Muslim there, you can live a pretty Muslim life. No problem. and you can have all the, you know, commerce, all the trade, all the stuff that comes with a Western lifestyle too. You know, this stuff is possible. And it's possible for Palestinians. And it's not that, uh, buying a bunch of stuff on Amazon is the key to a happy life or even a good life. Clearly, that's not the case. Um, but if given, if forced to choose between the two alternatives, I know where I'm going. I'll take Amazon over jihad any day. It's not even a question, right? So we all get to pick our adventure in life and pick a better one. Pick a better one. Because it has this Palestinian story about, I don't know, you know what it is, right? Destroying Israel. It's just, it's not going to work. And it hasn't worked. It's just a waste of time. And it only brings that day closer to when my kids and your kids have to fight yet another war. So please, from a friend, you guys can do better. Love you all.